there's absolutely a type of sinister weirdo that's trying to capitalize on real people coming out in mass. There's a wonderful movement of people that are having each other's backs and being like, yo, you too, me too. They drank 2 bottles of wine. Sloan took a bunch of Adderall before they did this episode. So the way that their trajectory goes, the pacing of it, this is one of the ones I did actually watch. It's very amped up. It's very drugged out. It's very inebriated.
And 5 years from now, like, people are going to be like, what did we do to this woman?
Totally. We thought we moved away from that. And actually, we're being faced with the fact that we haven't moved away from that.
Yeah.
We really haven't. Because if you look at how, the trends with Amber Heard, recounting her rape, her abuse, turning into memes and TikTok videos.
Online bullshit, that's all it is.
That's going to have an impact on the movement we've just created in the last few years. That has a huge impact. And I'm already seeing it, actually. I get so many messages from girls who go, I was going to come forward about my abuser, and now after the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp situation, I don't feel comfortable. Yeah. And I get it.
Alexa Nikolas is absolutely right. Many victims do not feel comfortable coming forward, but we're not so sure she's helping them. Eat Predators, as it stands now, is all about Alexa. But let's take a look this time at the role that Sloan has been playing. And just a note before we get started that Alexa reached out to warn us about her restraining order against Shift. So any information he has in relation to her will be transcribed. Back in 2021, Sloan was one of the only people showing clips from Nickelodeon that contained Dan Schneider's sexual innuendo. Then Alexa's name started popping up. So in 2022, Sloan did an in-person interview with her. Makes sense, let's expose predators. But we've uncovered some information that makes it seem like the goal is actually much more sinister.
Yes, what? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, oh, I'm back to the dressing room.
Not only does she love these young boys, she also hates the women that are with them. She hates Selena Gomez so much, she makes tons of videos about her, talking about her drug abuse, claiming the reason that she had her liver removed was because she was a drug addict, just making so many lies about Selena Gomez.
But what's twisted is, so when I first came out with my podcast, I didn't know about the Nickelodeon Predator stuff. I think you should cover this Nickelodeon stuff. You don't understand. This is a big deal. And I was like, I don't believe a single word you're saying. There's no fucking way that everything we watched, all of our favorite shows that we watched every single night were made by foot fetish pedophiles. I don't believe you. And I had to be corrected. And he sent me some videos. And I said, okay, you can come on my show. The videos he sent me were all Sloan.
I have a new video for you guys because it's time to talk about this monster, Dan Schneider. He is a former writer, producer, and director from Nickelodeon who did some disgusting things to children while he was there. But instead of investigating him like they should have, Nickelodeon gave him $7 million and said, thank you for your work, you can go away now. Yet those survivors have not forgotten what he has done to them. And today it is time to hold him accountable and go through all the evidence we have against him.
So when we covered the content, I didn't want to get into salacious recaps. That wasn't my point. My point was, what does this mean for all of us? Like, what are we going to do? Because there's no barrier for me. The kids that were on Nickelodeon or the kids that were fed Nickelodeon, we're all their victims. And I don't understand how things can happen like that, because my immediate thought is like, well, we're going to do something about this now. It's a numbers game for them. They just want as many kids watching them as possible. Ooh, slime. Ooh, feet. Ooh, this. Ooh, that.
But I want to talk a little bit more about creepy Nickelodeon. On the same show as Tori Vega, Ariana Grande was starring as someone named Kat Valentine. And during this time, there were really inappropriate clips that were aired on Nickelodeon of Ariana Grande doing random things, whether it was foot related or potato related. She does this weird thing with a potato where she's like squeezing it, and it's obviously really inappropriate.
Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice from a potato. Is it possible for a teenage girl to drink water upside down? guys, it's been me in a video. Come on, give up the juice.
That, along with her like baby voice persona and child like character, it was just really weird to watch, especially when Dan would put out his like 8 fantasies through the camera on the screen with Ariana Grande. Like, I can't look at Ari the same after seeing her stick her whole big toe in her mouth.
And I know for a fact Sloan's information is generally inaccurate.
The Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
So did Ariana Grande just admit that she's going to a clinic, some Hollywood celebrity clinic that erases her memories? I mean, that seems like concerning.
This clip was taken out of context. It is interviewers asking her about music, about when's the next album and tour. She's just saying like she doesn't want to give information. She's trying to avoid the question and she's just kind of being tongue in cheek about it.
It's not.
You gotta remember though,
backed up with facts.
this was 2021.
Yeah.
Good way of
This was
putting it.
like really early in this kind of content even being a genre. Like, this was such a new emergence of a
Yeah.
type of influencer that's really become super predominant over the last 4 years. But yeah, this was 2021. Then he's like, why is nobody covering this? Because he watched Zoe 101 when he was a little kid, and it was parasocial, infantile programming for him. His platform was new. I don't even think he had moved to LA yet. Like, once he moved to LA, things got extra weird. There was like a mass stalker in his yard, potentially.
You mean he had a stalker allegation?
He had like somebody with a mask and a knife in his yard or something like that, which like, it's just probably LA. Like, it's just weird here.
Right.
Oh, so there was a man with a knife, but it wasn't necessarily someone who was stalking, who was targeting him as an
In theory,
individual.
yeah. He made posts
yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
that had happened, and he got his fan base.
Yeah,
At the
that
time, I was
sounds-
in his fan base, and I was concerned for him. I was like, oh shit, he's been raising hell, and then he moved to LA. Where are these people that he's been raising hell with?
Right.
And who do they? It's maybe easier for them to hire someone to go be a menace.
I don't even know how to start this. I just need to do this or even like record state. So it's Saturday, May 28th at 4:06 p.m. on the Pacific time. And I just had one of the most scary experiences of my life. I don't even know how to deal with it. I'm just kind of like, what the fuck was that? Some of you guys may know that I moved to Los Angeles not too long ago. And it's been like a good time so far and everything. But like, I've had this weird fear of not only being out here because of like people I talk about or, the industry and everything, because I talk about shit in the industry. But I've been scared of being out here because I've been scared about like all in West Hollywood. I keep looking at my door because I'm just scared of my door opening or something, because there's this guy wearing a completely black mask all over his face, and so I was coming home tonight, and like I was walking through this alley that's near my house. This is how you get like home, and it's like a scary alley. It's known to be a scary alley. I've known this, but I've walked through it before and I was fine. And when I was walking across to my street, there's this guy and he was trying to hit on me and try to do things to me. And like, that's just kind of how West Hollywood is. I'm not used to this. I'm from Virginia. I'm not used to like being around people that are constantly gay all the time, which is fine. I love it because I feel accepted, but at the same time, I don't feel safe because I already felt like he was trying to do something to me. This man who's really nice. He was a Hispanic man, probably a few years older than me, maybe 2 inches shorter than me, and he was fine. He was nice. He was trying to hit on me. I told him I didn't want to, and he was totally fine with it. I asked him if he would walk me home because I already felt kind of scared because there's so many people wandering around the street. Granted, it was like 3 a.m. at this point.
I just feel like it's a common, amongst this group, it seems to be a common like publicity tool. Is that the right word? Like to get, like you said, it had an effect on you if you were like, oh my God, that's such a terrible story. Obviously Sloan did it. So then BJ, obviously Alexa's done it excessive of times. BJ is at this protest with her fiance and they see Brian Kuchar, and they have some kind of an exchange. And Brian's a bit like, because obviously they knew who he was, but he didn't know who they were. Yeah, this guy, Brian Kuchar, he was one of the original people in the Free Britney movement, and he bought the domain of bluetaylor.com, and he posted some stuff on there about the gay devil something or other.
The Lucifer stuff.
Right.
So this is Daily Mail. This is an international news publication. The title is Exclusive. Britney Spears business manager Lou Taylor sues Free Britney supporter who bought website domains in her name and shared posts calling her the mastermind controlling the pop star. Britney Spears business manager, that's this lady right here, Lucifer, filed a complaint last week claiming a man named Brian Kuchar bought the domains louimtaylor.com and louimtaylor.net to mislead internet users and tarnish Taylor's name and mark. According to court documents obtained by the Daily Mail TV. The site, louimtaylor.com, which has since been taken down, touted itself as your number one source for the gay demon exorcist.
So that he kind of got some infamy for that. So then he wasn't very polite to them. And then apparently BJ's fiance went to the toilet and Brian Kuchar was in there. So then it's like he followed me into the toilet. And they were both filming because it's meta. Everyone's live streaming and filming and doing content.
No.
And so BJ turned that into he was her stalker.
No.
But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on Brian Kuchar versus BJ. All right. Let me refresh your memory on what Brian wrote on his declaration. So he says in here, I'm an acquaintance of the petitioners who has also been harassed by the respondent in the same manner and method she has harassed petitioner. I provide this declaration in support of the petitioner's request to demonstrate that respondents has a long history and pattern of such harassment with many individuals, not just the petitioner. To be more specific, respondent reached out to me unsolicited. She was very kind and agreeable at the start, initially seemed harmless. In February of 2020, not long after respondents first reached out to me and we met online, I settled my lawsuit with Lou Taylor. Although I was glad to be done with the litigation and happy to put the matters behind me, respondent felt otherwise. Upon finding out that I had settled the lawsuit, she quickly turned on me, viewing me as an enemy and made me the subject ongoing social media ongoing social media videos and posts for years. According to respondents, simply by virtue of the fact that I had settled the lawsuit, I had been paid or bought off by Miss Taylor and was in fact Britney Spears' enemy. She had no hesitation claiming things that were completely false and passing them off as part of some investigation she was conducting, including a claim that I owned a gun and was liable to start using it to shoot people randomly. Wow, I hope there's some receipts for that. Respondent also began making videos posting on social media claiming that I was an infiltrator for Miss Taylor. And I also had been working for him or someone else opposed to Miss Spears the entire time. If the post had simply ended there, I might have not been providing this declaration now. However, it did not. On November 12th, 2021, I was in Los Angeles, California, attending a Free Britney rally. So he was at the rally on November 12th of 2021. Okay. Where Prem, her husband, fiance, followed me throughout the courthouse, including the bathroom. After the court hearing, he later followed me outside where I was filming and asked me about $20K. I didn't know what this man was and asked, "Who are you?" BJ has since made a music video about me with this footage.
Talking out the side of your neck like you're insane. Cortisol levels to the roof, inflame. Kids these days so shameless, selling out real friends for a paycheck.
I reported the video on YouTube and they have removed it. On Monday of August 14th of 2023, she has continuously posted false and harassing posts on my social media platform, including Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter.
And me as a viewer of BJ, I always bought into it.
And it's a great clickbait title.
Totally.
Do you think that they advised her to come for you?
That's where things get murky again. And I'm not sure because I sometimes think that BJ may have had a hand in that. I speculate.
when we were making these discoveries as citizen journalists out on the beat, not getting paid, no one's, people are calling us conspiracy theorists. People are calling us crazy.
So I made a video about Lindsay Lohan and how she was almost put into a conservatorship allegedly by her mother and allegedly by Lou and Taylor. And this is what I got in return.
Deliberately building your content around conspiracy theory and just like allowing that to be your disclaimer, because just recently another channel has actually made 2 really good videos about him like dissecting his content and saying that he's making up some really horrible stories against, I think it's Steven Spielberg.
What?
Is he saying he's a pedo?
Yeah.
This just comes from Crazy Days and Nights.
That's wild.
And he
So
said
Crazy
that's
Days
his
and Nights
source.
was the only person willing to put me on for a while. So that it always
Yeah.
frustrates me because everything else that they put out, it seems to be tabloid bullshit.
And the point, this guy who's making the videos, not a massive channel, but someone who does research, someone who does put together like decent content, he's basically saying Sloan is the biggest liar on YouTube or something like that, which, I mean, the way he's put it together, he's made a very good case for it. But it's like, the people watching that are going to be thinking in their minds, yeah, I think this could be true about Steven Spielberg.
But the other funny thing about this intro is the clip that Sloan decides to use of Shia LaBeouf here. He shows a clip from an interview with Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf with them talking about Transformers, which Steven Spielberg executive produced. And in this clip, he shows Shia LaBeouf saying that Steven Spielberg eats babies, which obviously is a joke. This whole interview, in fact, is just Shia making jokes in general.
Shia, aren't you afraid to sit next to a girl who eats men in her next movie? It's very sexy. It's very sexy and scary. Can you tell us a secret about Steven Spielberg? He eats babies. Whole babies.
He very clearly already wants to try to set this purported narrative for Steven Spielberg in the intro, but he's not really doing a very good job of it.
There are some rumors that there's a dark side to Steven, so today we're going to talk all about it. Let's start off with the creation of Indiana Jones, because he was talking to some guys, including George Lucas, another guy named Lawrence, and they were trying to figure out this story. And if you look at how they formed who Indiana Jones is, there's like this really perverted side to it. So there's going to be a lot of reading in this next bit, but pretty much this is the conversation between these men on how this story would go. And I think it speaks a lot to their character. George said, I was thinking that this old guy could have been his mentor. He could have known this little girl when she was just a kid, had an affair with her when she was 11. Lauren said, and he was 42, which is creepy. George replied, he hasn't seen her in 12 years. Now she's 22. It's a real strange relationship. Steven chimed in and he said, she had better be older than 22.
Okay, first off, I love that Sloan doesn't actually cite what any of this is from, since, as we'll find out later in this video, he's not very good about citing sources whatsoever. I actually had to be the one to figure out what this was even from to begin with, and so I googled the text that he put up here on screen and found out this is actually all from a transcript of a story meeting held for Raiders of the Lost Ark. In particular, this is a story meeting between Lawrence Kasdan, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg while they were developing ideas for the film. As shown here, George initially threw out the idea of having Marion, Indiana Jones' lover, be 12 when they first met. But funny enough, despite the fact this video is supposed to be Sloan showing how Steven Spielberg is a creep, Spielberg is actually the one who pushes back against this during the story meeting. Sloan even read it off himself there. Spielberg said, when referring to Marion, she had better be older than 22. So the fact that Sloan thinks any of this shows that Spielberg was being a creep whatsoever is kind of insane. Despite making some pretty extreme claims about Steven Spielberg, it seems Sloan has yet to prove any of them whatsoever. Things are looking so great for him, but now it looks like he's gonna talk about Jurassic Park and claim that Steven Spielberg was a creep on the set of Jurassic Park. Oh boy. Let's see what he has to say on that.
And there's a blind item I want to go over with you guys from back in Jurassic Park time. So this item involves 2 people, Ariana Richards, who starred in Jurassic Park, and Steven Spielberg. It reads, if you were just barely a teen and you were on a film set long away from home, things would be tough. If your boss, a permanent A-lister, sent away your minder, so I'm assuming the caregiver of that minor who is on set, every night so that he could tuck you in, you too would still wake up screaming in the middle of the night 2 decades later. Such is the fate of a former child actress who was in one of the biggest movies of all time. She says it started one night when she was on set, and this director, Steven, said he wanted to go over a few lines with her that night after dinner. He came to her hotel room and sent away the person in charge of watching over her. Allegedly, from that night, for the next month, she was molested and and forced to do things that she's never done since, even with her new husband.
Oh boy, this is even worse than the last one, believe it or not. This claim that Sloan makes about Steven Spielberg molesting Ariana Richards on the set of Jurassic Park, in addition to being an even more insane claim than the last one he made, also inevitably has even less evidence to back it up.
Well, I don't think you can research what people are doing in their personal lives, you know? And what I want to say is that NT Lawyer has made his career on what is popular or like what's the big news story. So he started to do Me Too, and then he caught on to this. The next thing was going to be people who are interested in kids. You know what I mean? So he just makes up stories about people in the entertainment industry who are being predators. Hashtag
But we have real
predators.
That you
I
could
know.
be actually.
But this
thinking
gets
about.
clicks. This is like new conspiracy theory, exciting stuff.
Throw enough spaghetti at the wall, eventually something's gonna stick and be the next trend thing that they can draw back to this video or that. They can always delete content, as we've learned.
Sloan has just gotten a lot of views from stealing content from Crazy Days and Nights. So that's where he's going to keep going back to, even though that's dumb, you know?
He's dumb, in my opinion. I don't think he's malleable enough. He is money incentivized, certainly. But he also, from my understanding, is influenced by substances to different degrees at different times. He's a little holier than thou and thinks he's above. He's smarter than most people. He thinks he's got kind of a grip on understanding law. One of the first arguments that I got into, and part of the reason that BJ and I started having tension, is because he kept putting out videos where he was saying conspiracy instead of theory. He was saying things like, this is just a conspiracy, everybody. Don't worry, I'm just going to tell you what the conspiracy is, and you can make your own decisions from there. And I'd be listening to him use this word when I knew he meant theory. That's one of my internet pet peeves. I will flip it to, I'll lose sleep over. So I reached out to him, and he ignored me. And then I reached out to BJ because she was following me. And that was around the time that she unfollowed me, and she started coming at me with some like, what do you want me to do about it? And I was like, tell your friend so he doesn't get sued for defamation. He can say things are just a theory, but if he says things are a conspiracy, that's an accusation. Like, you're a lawyer, fucking help your friend. Like, I'm not raising waves to have a fight with you guys.
Like, professional doesn't mean shit. You know, people think that word means something. It's like, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
It's like, professional at what?
Professionally creating like child pornography.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, professional.
It was a combination of things. And so, okay, listen, you're covering like child SA with someone that is your friend. If she's uncomfortable with something being said a certain way, let's talk about that. Don't just throw a firm no, I'm not hiring my editor to come back in and do anything for you. But one of the issues with it, and you can tell this if you look for it, watch the episode and zip through, they drank 2 bottles of wine. Sloan took a bunch of Adderall before they did this episode. So the way that their trajectory goes, it's very amped up. It's very drugged out. It's very inebriated. You know, their lips are getting slightly purple. Like you can see it's red wine, first of all. So you can see like the physical evidence of drinking too much of it over time. And then the tone that Sloan has gets punchy at different points. He makes a bunch of sexual jokes or like something like there was something about blowjobs or whatever. He was like, I was giving blowjobs at 15 or like, so it was just very like, oh, you're not, are you exposing predators or not, dude?
Yeah, it's got great crew and lighting and everything.
Yeah, and money, a lot of money behind it. Nickelodeon.
Oh, speaking of that, girl, I need to talk about the cum shot. Do you know what I'm talking about? The scene where you and Jamie Lynn are like in the store or something, and then you squirt like this jelly on her face, and like it goes like very particular on her face. So can you tell me about like that scene in particular? Because I remember you like sharing that Dan was very like very specific about how he wanted everything to look. Like,
Yeah,
thingy too.
Yeah, of
Bro, I need a
course.
breath of fresh air.
No,
I'm
of
just
course.
dying.
So basically,
So, like, as a professional, this is about child SA. Let's discuss each and every nuanced request that she's got. And also, are you her friend or aren't you? Because, like, you're talking like this is just business and you don't want to do it. It's your episode. But if you're friends, then it doesn't matter what contracts you all signed or what attitude you have about what content you own. You're negotiating all the way through. This should be collaborative to the moment it airs and beyond. And so he didn't know what to do with that.
But speaking of representation, like another thing I wanted to ask you about in relation to this Alexa Nikolas website, in your documents, you said that you helped her negotiate representation by United Talent Agency. And United Talent Agency is legally represented by Brian Friedman. So it just seems to me very odd going back to that subject. First of all, she's done a protest outside his office and then she wants to sign up with them, but then she's making content against him. It's not sitting well in the context of activism.
Like I said, I was involved in Occupy Oakland, BLM, Hands Up Don't Shoot. Optics as a weapon to completely dismantle a really effective and beautiful action or movement or whatever, like that optics are such a big deal. And whether someone's well-intentioned or not, optics influence things in ways that can be totally outside of anything that really actually materially is of concern.
Another funny thing is that Mark Garagos, another very well-known lawyer who has defended Michael Jackson, he's involved in the Michael Jackson estate with Brian Friedman. He just finished consulting for Diddy's team during the Diddy trial. He has been Chris Brown's attorney. Chris Brown, that's an abuser. Mark Garagos was Joe Dunn's attorney.
Right.
There's a lot of crossover. I just find it really interesting that she would jump to sign with that agency when her whole protest was about that he
so
has all these allegations. It's like, but you're doing that now.
Jaden was the one that alerted me to Brian Friedman being UTA's head lawyer. And so when she came to me and said, oh, they want to sign me. And I said, yes. But I said, do you know that Brian Friedman is their lead attorney? And she said, oh, that doesn't matter. He's the lead attorney for a lot of agencies. And blew it off, like super casual. Like, we're not even going to address this. It's not a big deal. Why are you even worried about it? But previously, maybe like 3 weeks before that, she had wanted to host another rally against him and address some Brian Friedman this or that. So what she wanted to do...
So what's the point of her protest then if it's not a big deal?
Honestly, Beth, I don't fucking know, man.
So when I first got into the Free Britney movement, it was July 2020. But once I did enter into it, I did become a very important part of it, a very important part that was missing previously, which was there was nobody who understood the lawsuits and the legal jargon, who was going on camera and explaining it to people in a layman's terms type of way. By the time I learned that the movement existed, Lou Taylor had already sued one Free Britney supporter. And when I started talking about Lou, I remember people, leaders of the movement at the time and major advocates within the movement, I remember them warning me and saying, Lou Taylor's going to come after you. She's already sued one fan for this. Other fans have gotten cease and desisted. Some people have been threatened with, other lawsuits. People have been threatened with restraining orders, protective orders, stuff like that. It was just kind of like Lou Taylor was like the big bad wolf of the Free Britney movement.
Against Lou Taylor in 2019, that he bought and this is what I've been trying to say, like, it could literally be anyone. So that he kind of got some infamy for that.
Sure.
And then
everybody wants to be Perez Hilton.
And he apparently received a settlement. So he was kind of seen like a little bit of a hero within the movement for that, because Lou Taylor had used the company funds or the estate money to pay for the legal action. And so people have mixed feelings about that. One of the people that had mixed feelings about that was BJ. But
yeah,
I just find it weird that Brian Friedman would think of Alexa Nikolas as that much of a threat as to make that website. I gotta be honest.
I think it stands to reason. I mean, the one thing I've learned in having to self-represent is like these lawyers are petty and they put their pants on one leg at a time after they take.
You think it is him?
The rest of us. I think it can easily be. It makes more sense to me than it being Autumn Whitaker, and I don't know who else it could be. Neela has capacity for this kind of stuff. She's bankrolled by her parents.
Yeah, because I read
for
she had a
nothing, and she has
medium.
all the time in the world. Yeah, as far as I could tell, the medium was her too.
Obviously, in Neela's own words, Neela commented that I was demanding people unpaid labor, but as you can hear in Neela's own words, that no one was making anyone do anything, and Neela even said she was doing this because she wanted to. And I wish that I could say that Kaylee was the only individual that started to seek to destroy, but no, it ended up being Neela as well. Neela ended up contributing to the harassment against me, etc. And so I am going to show my screen now because I want to show everybody who Neela is. This is going to be the thumbnail.
But it could have not been. And if it were not either of them, and the only reason I think it could be them is because of the extent of the information. Neela was gathering information and people. She's very charming. She's got a ton of
Is this the girl that has the ankle bracelet?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And because Neela's incredibly well spoken, she's an academic genius in a bunch of ways. She can write an article. She can run a PR firm. She could do a lot of things if she wanted to. But I'm not even sure how she ended up in Eat Predators, frankly. And she didn't make a whole lot of sense because she's in the Midwest. But she would talk all the time about like she didn't like celebrities. Celebrities will not save us. She doesn't like Hollywood. She doesn't understand why Hollywood's so important, which like on its own is a bit of a red flag. There's no reason to be involved in a group like Eat Predators if you don't have some respect for Hollywood.
Who is Shannon Ruth? Hey everyone, that's the question I had when I googled ShellyMXO.com while trying to learn more about the Shelly August quote-unquote smear site. I did a video on this yesterday, but to quickly recap, Shelly August is a woman who had previously accused Diplo, the producer/DJ, of assault. So why did another site, shannonruth.org, pop up when I searched for Shelly's site? We literally see shannonruth.org showing up with metadata that references Shelly. So very bizarre from a digital perspective. I didn't know who Shannon Ruth was, of course, so I did some research, and it turns out that Shannon Ruth had previously accused Nick Carter of the Backstreet Boys of assaulting her when she was 17. So this is altogether fairly strange that these two cases or incidents are sort of coming together. My guess is whoever created the Shannon Ruth site originally, possibly to defend Nick Carter, later cloned it to make the Shelly August site, which could explain the metadata overlap. In other words, whoever made one site probably made the other. I could be wrong about the technical aspect of this and how the linkage came to be, but clearly whoever was involved with one was likely involved with the other. And so interesting to see for sure. And I think this is where we start to see, some really fascinating patterns with these smear sites, which act like nesting dolls, where you have one inside of the other, in another inside of the other, and it just keeps going, and they're all connected.
Shannon Ruth, is it Ruth Shannon or Shannon Ruth?
Shay, yeah.
And so he said something like Shannon Ruth's website turned into Shelly August's website. Shelly August went on Sloan's channel.
The whole Scooter thing, reaching out to me. Scooter reached out to me and taught me a lot and kind of got me into the whole marketing aspect of like how social media marketing and stuff really worked when it came to bringing Justin up and his connection with the fans and stuff. So
just on the Justin Bieber thing really quick. So I want to quickly tell that story. So you called out Justin Bieber because he would bring girls onto stage for the song One Less Lonely Girl, right?
One Less Lonely Girl,
But he would only bring up white girls, like no Asian girls, no black girls, brown girls. And so you made like a Twitter post. It essentially went viral. So Scooter reached out to you. Did Scooter have you delete that post and delete that page, or
Like,
not at all, actually.
no.
Scooter.
So he just befriended you over that.
Scooter
trending.
actually reached out and said, "Thank you for bringing this to our attention. This was never our intention of singling, girls out. And thank you for bringing this to our attention and making us aware of this. Like, we are going to, consciously make an effort to change it." And then Justin followed me, and then it started this whole and then Justin DM'd me too, and this was like 2009, 2010, so very early, like in his career. I think 2010. And Justin DM'd me and said, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Yeah.
And he was, they appreciated it.
Did you ever actually meet Scooter Braun?
Yes.
And I'm starting to see a connection between Sloan, Alexa, Nikolas, these allegations being like them using his platform.
Nick Carter is being sued for assaulting a disabled girl. This isn't the first time Nick has gotten in trouble. Through the years, many women have accused him of awful crimes, exploiting their virginity and taking it as his own. But now he may have met his match because this case is going to court. Okay, guys, I literally am shaking right now. Like, I filmed another video. I was editing. I was going to post it. But I posted a video this morning about the Nick Carter accusations. And now his wife is threatening me and my family. And I'm making this video right now as proof that if something were to happen to my life or my family's life right now, this is who did it. Nick Carter and his wife, Kit, are the people who have harmed me and harmed my family. So if I'm dead tomorrow, that's why. I made this video about Nick Carter, and I make a lot of these videos exposing allegations in the industry and things like that. I'm actually so shaken up. I feel like I need to breathe. I'm going to show you guys the text messages in a moment that where they are threatening me. But I make videos exposing celebrities all the time, and I don't just make things up.
We were discussing this, me and Katie were like, they call it battery, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like the best way of getting money out of someone with the kind of allegations that they were coming with, I
have proof that he has not only lied during the arbitration under oath, but also within my lawsuit as well. He lied about having herpes, which, by the way, he posted his STD results on his story on Instagram to try to clear that he doesn't have HIV. He's trying to deny that he has HIV, but he messed up and forgot to take that off.
He confirmed that he has herpes.
He confirmed that he has herpes, and he forgot that under oath, under penalty of perjury, he said in my lawsuit, which we have all the documents, he said that he has never been diagnosed with herpes, that he does not have herpes, etc. He said under oath in my lawsuit, he's never distributed my images or videos to any third parties. Guess what? Since this has all come out, 2 girls have sent me proof that he has distributed my pictures and videos to them.
And with the things that you've received too, it's just at this point a pattern.
Yeah.
I don't watch his content, but I just watched that video for the purposes of research with Shelley August. And the way he was clutching his pearls the whole way through it.
This is huge because the media and the industry, they like to ignore these allegations sometimes. I mean, sometimes they pick them up, sometimes they don't. And this isn't Nick Carter's first rodeo. In 2017, we learned that Nick Carter is accused of R-wording a singer in 2002. Her name is Melissa Schumann, and she's a singer and used to be part of a girl group named Dream. She was 18 back in 2002 when she claims that Nick Carter assaulted her. She actually claims that they started speaking because their managers suggested they date for good PR.
And then
Shannon.
And then and then joined.
And Melissa Schumann, who I actually have a tidbit y'all might be interested in about Melissa Schumann specifically.
Oh, really?
Melissa Schumann filed for a restraining order against someone that was questioning her narrative online. Molly Golightly, I believe is her name. That entire matter
I've heard of her.
Broadcast on YouTube. It's in Nevada, and they actually record and broadcast all of their civil matters. So they have a specific watchdog website that keeps their judges accountable, and they have a much higher threshold for evidence for getting a civil restraining order. And she had a female attorney. It's actually really interesting watching the judge shut her attorney down because they tried to run some of the same game of like, oh, Your Honor, I'm so worried for my client and I'm emotional because it's such a scary situation for my client. And the judge was like, yeah, I heard all of that. And the lawyer tried to name drop like Nick Carter. She actually did date Nick Carter for a minute. And
Yeah. And that he treated her poorly, and she was finally like,
he was like
about
14
it.
or 15. And no, I don't think that he did the things that she said he did. That's
Oh, really?
At this point, I am not in a position where I can, let me just believe survivors first. And women said it, so let me go ahead. Like, there's absolutely a type of sinister weirdo that's trying to capitalize on real people coming out in mass. There's a wonderful movement of people that are having each other's backs and being like, yo, you too, me too. And there's vampires that are jumping onto that same energy. And they're trying to figure out like, okay, I wasn't able to get my fix in being a pop star when I tried to be a pop star, which takes a lot of energy out of somebody. It's probably incredibly traumatic to be dropped into a one-hit wonder realm when you were hoping to become at least like a Jennifer Lopez and get somebody to kind of sugar daddy you into a perceived fame that people believe in and create millions of dollars for you or whatever. Like, celebrities fangirl out about each other sometimes. Like, that's a lot of award shows that we get. There's so much incentive to kind of like go with the flow of the perceived importance or whatever that's bestowed upon people.
Hi, my name is Alexa Nikolas. I am a survivor, an actress, activist, and founder of ePredators, and I am a mother of 2. Sorry. It is an honor to be amongst these incredible individuals who speak truth to power. My abuser groomed me from the age of 16 and abused me for over a decade.